do you want?
What'd I just say? Now, we're gonna make us little telephone calls.
Lance Vlcek here for Arrow in the Head's The Fucking Black Sheep, where we take a look at the opposing opinion of the genre's most divisive films.
I think that writers, when they're forming, are like what my mother always used to say, milk in the refrigerator takes the flavor of whatever's next to it.
You know, it's an unloved King film, an underappreciated Romero film, and a black sheep of both, the dark half. Let's talk about Richard Bachman. In the late 70s, Stephen King had hit it big. His first few books became bestsellers. Hollywood was interested in adapting his work, and King himself helped usher horror novels into the everyday mainstream. He was selling millions of copies, and everything he touched turned to gold. The problem, you ask? As any King fan knows, the man needs to write a few books a year, or he risks certain death. King is the writing equivalent of the bus from Speed.
Wouldn't be able to interest you in a bribe, would I?
It does look like shit.
I'm the Lord of the Harvest. I'll fuck anything that moves!
Damn, do I miss Dennis Hopper. Back then you couldn't release multiple books a year. Not only would it cheapen your name, but it would cannibalize your own profits. All they had to do was just ask John Fogerty. So I'm the only one that's heard of Creedence Clearwater Revival? But it wasn't just that. Stephen King questioned his own celebrity. Or was there enough talent to keep him on top? And so we got the Bachman experiment, spanning 4 books, with number 5, Thinner, being so obviously Stephen King, it officially ended his pen name. His 1989 novel about a writer's alias being outed and manifesting itself into an actual, vengeful being. The Dark Half is Stephen King's ode to his own odd little experiment, in true King fashion. In '93, we got the film adaptation, which seems to have flown under the radar and rarely gets mentioned when talking about classic King. Is The Dark Half one of King's many black sheep? Looks like it, but I'm here to fix that. Timothy Hutton plays Thad Beaumont, a gritty pulp writer who, after being blackmailed, aims to put his pen name, George Stark, to rest. Wanting to write more serious literature, he takes the blackmail as an easy out, and publicizes a mock burial for his darker side. The first thing that stands out is how careful The Dark Half is in its execution. It's really a slow burn thriller. After he ends the Stark name, someone starts murdering, but the film is in no hurry to delve into the killings. We only see the aftermath for the first hour, and are basically on the side of Beaumont. He doesn't know what's going on, and sure as shit, neither do we. It takes up until the 50-minute mark to actually see Stark's face, and we are still kept in the dark as to who or what he is. Giving this a recent rewatch, I forgot how much of this film is low-key, just slow building tension, while the focus is solely on the plight of Beaumont and his world crumbling around him. This must be credited to George A. Romero. What a talented director, pigeonholed as a zombie guy. Now, Romero was great at zombies, of course, though Land was the start of the decline. But he knows how to shoot a movie, and The Dark Half is him at his most visually interesting. Look at this. Almost Cronenberg-esque, and damn disturbing. Just the practical effect of the breaking oven is something small that adds so much. Then we get this creepy doll-like monstrosity, which seems like an earlier version of the mask used in his late career underrated film Bruiser. When People magazine's Michael Donaldson comes home to a dark hallway, Romero lights it from the city's neon advertisements. He frames his shots in interesting and cinematic ways. Like the pacing, it's reserved, but he adds these little things here and there that do a lot. I love the Dead trilogy, but man, does The Dark Half have his best directing hands down. And a damn shame he doesn't get much credit for it. Timothy Hutton knocks it out of the park here. Man, did Hollywood miss the mark with this guy? Yeah, I know. He won an Oscar. But scrolling through his IMDb, I really believe he has been underutilized. His turn as Hugh Crane was the best comeback we've had in years. Subtle and reserved, emotes like a pro.
Never been prouder of anything. Anything. Ever. Take care of each other.
God damn it, Hutton! Why is this so moving? He does great with the dual role. As a family man, he is easily relatable, kind, easygoing, yet has the wit of someone I could believe would be a prolific writer.
I mean, there's not a lot there. You know, I stay up all night and produce 9 lousy pages.
9 perfect pages. It's great.
If you ever want to get depressed, look up how old an actor was during the filming of a movie you love. Thad Beaumont is my exact age now. The only difference, I don't have a wife, kids, big beautiful house, a successful writing career, while also a professor at the University of Maine. But at least I'm bald? Great. Thad is a wholesome dude, but every once in a while, a little darkness sneaks out.
That's what Alexis Machine would do. He'd go get him, cut off his pecker, and shove it in his little rat mouth, so when they found him, they'd know he was a squealer.
It's these thoughts that gave way to his writing alter ego. George Stark is a part of Thad he subconsciously wants to be. When he gets to write as George Stark, his inner demons peek through. When the fictional Stark manifests, he's cocky, cool, and as someone put it best, has the perfect fuck you swagger. Modeled somewhat after Elvis, a personal hero of King, George Stark is a charming psychotic. We don't know what Stark is, and the two explanations we get sorta contradict each other. 1. Any concrete explanation would not have really worked, it would have just come off lame. 2. Enjoyed then, and I still enjoy now, that George Stark didn't end up being a split personality twist. He wasn't just Thad blacking out. For any one of these murders, framings, kidnappings to have any real weight, Stark needed to be an actual physical entity. What we do know is that Beaumont had a parasitic twin while in the womb. Once they did the surgery to cure his childhood headaches, we see its remnants in gory detail. Is this the vessel? Who knows? Unlike the novel, George Stark is a slight variation of Thad Beaumont. I read that this upset some fans of the novel, but I think it works better here. George is supposed to be the darker half. It makes more sense that they would share the same physical features, only slightly altered. We can't forget about Michael Rooker's character, Sheriff Ellen Pangborn. Maybe my favorite of King's reoccurring characters.
Fucking scunt! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I want everybody in the world looking for that truck.
I'm not going anywhere.
Rooker plays him straight-laced and professional. He has a natural charisma on screen, having every reason to be an ass. I appreciate his reluctant, even sympathetic attitude towards Thad. Ellen wants to believe his story, but it becomes increasingly hard as the bodies pile up. I've always liked Michael Rooker, and I always will.
What the fuck is going on up there?
Nearing the end, Thad Beaumont and George Stark finally meet. The sparrows are flying again. Another great visual is Romero's use of the sparrows. Genuinely creepy and a warning to the audience. These sparrows conduct souls to the land of the dead and show up when Stark's entity is near. The hospital scene at the beginning has one of the best looking and intense scenes from any early 90s horror film. And keeping it gross, the idea of Stark wasting away is great. Starting off fresh and handsome and ending up like a dying hospital patient is a cool visual. The Dark Half stands strong 26 years later. I'm still blown away by how well it holds up. Watching Stark get sent back to hell, piece by piece, is gorgeous. Well done, George. The cast is great with the material. Rooker's laid-back yet stern approach is greatly appreciated. Amy Madigan is sweet and supportive as Liz Beaumont. And Timothy Hutton proves he can and should lead more films. Let's put our differences aside and come together. Let's give The Dark Half a second chance. Let's give it a new lease on life and admit that it's underrated, that it's been unfairly overlooked. This sure doesn't deserve to be the fucking black sheep. That would be The Dark Tower.
I hope you don't mind me making myself at home. Where I come from, we don't have chicken. It never works on you, does it, Roland? The power you have to resist my magic